How do I even start this video? Hi guys, and welcome to my review of Once Upon a Time episode 613, Ill Boding Patterns. I'm sure you know how this is gonna go. If you watch my Once reviews, like there's no question about how I'm gonna respond in this video. There's going to be a lot of feels. So I might as well just like cut to the chase because like I'll talk about the rest of the episodes after, but gotta talk about the proposal before I talk about anything else. I'm in this zone at the moment where I don't know exactly how I feel because like on the one hand, I'm so excited that I can't bear it, and on the other hand, I'm really upset because I just didn't want it to happen like that. It reminded me of when they went on their first date, and I was so excited about their first date, and it was so cute, and they got all dressed up and they went out and had their meal and everything, and then they got back to the apartment, and then she kind of like jokingly invited him in but pointed out like that her entire family were all there, and that was all a bit awkward. But then they kissed at the end of their date, and he was totally distracted by the fact that he had his hand back and was thinking, oh, I hope I'm not getting like dragged back to the dark side by like my hand. And I always really hated that he like didn't get completely caught up in the moment the way that she did. Why did they have to do that again? Why did they have to have something that meant that he, like, it couldn't be like a fully enjoyable moment for both of them? Why did he have to have something to feel guilty about while that was happening? However, regardless of the fact that he didn't get to tell her, it was one of these situations. I read an interview with Colin and Jen after it, and they were like, oh, she just put him in this, she didn't mean to, God love her, but she put him in this really impossible position because she was so excited. And like, can we talk about that first? Like, the character progression for Emma Swan, she means an incredible amount to me. And seeing that character in this place where not only is she like happy to be living with someone and like in this relationship, but she's found an engagement ring, and instead of freaking out, which is what she would have done in the past, even last season while she was the dark one and there was the moment where he gave her Liam's ring as like a trinket to protect her kind of thing, there was that discussion of like potential proposal, and she, while I still think at that point secretly she liked the idea, like she still seemed quite sort of freaked out by it, and even like committing to having him move in sort of thing took a little while for her to get on board with. And now the fact that like not only is she like willing to consider it, but she's like super excited about getting married to him, just, oh my god, it makes me so happy. She just deserves this so much, and she deserves to be happy, and she deserves to be in this place where, you know, she's been through so much and she's still going through a lot, you know, the Gideon stuff isn't over. But for her to have found that ring and to be so excited about it, I think, was it Jen that said? I think Jen said like if she hadn't been like ready for this step, she could just easily have put the ring back in the box and pretended she hadn't found it and not said anything. But she found it and she was excited about it, and she wanted to tell him that she knew that it was there so that he would propose. And that then put him in this really awkward position because her little face was so like filled with anticipation and hope, and you could see how happy she was at the prospect of them getting married. And like, she obviously just assumed that that's what he was talking about because in the past she's been so like closed off to the idea of getting like making things more committed and more serious. And so when he's saying, oh, I've got something to tell you but I don't know how you're going to react, like, she's just found an engagement ring. Clearly that's what she's going to assume that he's talking about. And so like, yeah, okay, what he probably should have done in that moment was interrupt the sentence and say, I'm so sorry, I have to tell you this before, like, all I want is to ask you to marry me, but before I do, I have to tell you this thing. That's what he should have done. But instead, you saw him watching her, and like both of them just, I love these actors so much because they put so much emotion into every expression, and you could see in his face as he was looking at her, like, how much he just wanted to make her happy and how she was, that's what she wanted. And he just got caught up in the moment, and now he's going to regret it because he's going to have to now tell her after they've got engaged. And do you know what I just wish? I wish that either he had not found out about, actually, do you know what I wish? I wish he hadn't been responsible for killing David's dad. That's what I wish more than anything. However, if they had to have that as part of the storyline, I wish that he had proposed after he'd told her, or that he hadn't found out about the David thing until after he proposed, and that way it wouldn't be a lie. I'm really sorry, by the way, the wind is like really loud in the chimney. The weather today is insane. I was actually supposed to have a job interview this morning and it was so snowy that it got postponed. So springtime in Scotland. But yeah, anyway, back to the scene that I have watched. Like, you know I rewatch these scenes a lot. I watched this episode for the first time last night, so it's now I think about 12 o'clock, 11:30 in the morning, and I watched this at about 10 o'clock last night. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that I've watched the proposal scene probably 20 times since then. Like, I just like hit repeat on this. I opened up the scene on YouTube and I've just like sat and like had it on repeat since then, because I can't get enough of it. And I'm torn, because on the one hand I'm like, no, I'm angry at you for doing this, and I'm angry at you for putting it in a situation where like there's a secret between them, and they wrote that line in. They had Emma saying like, it's just us, like just you and me, and there's like no walls between us and no secrets between us. And I was like, you're doing that. And you know, all that it's going to do is it's going to give people who don't like him or who don't support the ship, which is fine, because I'm always, as I say, I have nothing against anyone shipping whoever they want, and being like shipping Emma with someone else or shipping Gillian with someone else, whoever they want to ship, I'm totally fine with, because I think that the most important thing is that you respect other people's opinions. But I just feel like it's going to give people ammunition to be like, oh look, like he's not good enough for her. Like, yes though. Oh, I'm so emotional about this whole situation. I do love that a TV show can evoke such emotion from you, and it's just, I adore them. I love them so much, and I just want them to be happy, and I'm just frustrated that it's a situation where he's now put himself in a position where he's going to have to kind of backtrack. Well, not backtrack, but he's going to have to open up about something that he should have been honest about before, and the timing's all just so bad. I just love how happy she looks at the moment though, and that's why it's so sad, because in the past 2 episodes she's just looked so happy, and every moment that she's been with him you just see her like, she just looks so joyful. And I've been waiting for this proposal for so long, and they've done what they always do, which is make it complicated, and I know that it would be boring if everything was really straightforward, but they deserve to be happy, and they do not deserve to have their proposal messed with stupid secrets. Anyway, I should probably stop ranting about this by now. Generally though, like the scene itself, if you take away the fact that obviously there's a secret that needs to be exposed, I actually think the scene itself is beautiful, and everything about it, like with the exception of that, was actually really perfect. I do actually really love that it happened in the house. I kind of love the fact that she'd found the ring. Like initially I was like really annoyed about that, because I was like, oh for heaven's sake, like it's ruining the surprise and it's bad timing. But actually there was something really lovely about seeing how enthusiastic she was. Like it gave you the opportunity to see that it wasn't just like he caught her off guard and she just kind of like said yes to make him happy. You saw how much she wanted it, and so I thought that was a really nice way of doing it. Obviously it was, you know, to create drama and create like a roadblock for him, but I thought that was lovely. And it was just really simple, like the fact that it was just the two of them in the hall in their house. There was no like big like fancy parade, and it wasn't in front of other people, which I was so relieved about, because I don't like that. I don't like public proposals. And just the script and everything for that scene was just absolutely beautiful. What I'm kind of hoping is that after he's told her about David's dad, because I figure like I've seen people be like, oh she'll give him the ring back and then maybe like propose again. I don't think she'll give him the ring back. I hope she doesn't give him the ring back, because I know she'll be angry with him, but I kind of just hope that it's another one of these things that they like just work through kind of thing. But yeah, I don't necessarily want her to give him the ring back, but I do wonder if maybe there would be like a little like second proposal kind of thing, where he says like, now that you know we've been through that, are you still sure you want to marry me? And she can say yes, and it'll all be very cute and lovely. So that's, I don't know, that's kind of what I'm thinking at the moment. What am I going to be like at this wedding? Like, I mean seriously, this is me at the proposal. Like this was me at the first date, this is me at the first kiss. What am I going to be like at the wedding? I mean, but I suppose your OTP only gets engaged once, and as a loud and proud fangirl, I'm allowed to be excited about that. Oh, they both just look so emotional. And you could see that after she said yes, at the time that she said yes, he was not thinking about the David thing, because he was like, after like she'd said yes and he'd put the ring on and they'd kiss and whatever, you could see he was just like beaming from ear to ear, and then clearly it kind of set in like the guilt again. But yeah, anyway, I have issues with it, but from a I adore these two people perspective, it still was very cute. Okay, so moving on, because I'm not allowed to talk about this for the entire episode, I'll very quickly mention the scene with Archie at the beginning of the episode. I really enjoyed that, where Archie kind of went in to talk to him in Granny's, and he said to Archie that he wanted to tell Emma and he couldn't really understand that because he knew that she would probably hate him for it, for whatever it was, and Archie was kind of saying, oh, well, that's just proof that, like, you've changed and that you're a good person and that you want to be honest and that you are the man that she wants to marry. And oh, love, like, Archie can get on the CS hashtag and join us in our fangirling. But yeah, that was a very nice scene. What then happened was, because I knew, like, obviously, I'd seen stuff on Twitter, I tried to avoid it, but I'd seen a couple of GIFs, and so I knew that the proposal happened last night. And so I was like, oh, I was so excited all day. But what then happened was, throughout the episode, it was getting like further and further and further through the episode, and I started to worry because I was like, well, I know the proposal happens and they've not had this conversation yet. In fact, Emma's not been in the episode at all yet, and it was like, by the time it got to like 5 minutes before the end, I was like, he must not tell her before the proposal because, like, there's not enough time for that. So I was a bit disappointed in that, but anyway, moving on. So I don't know how long I've talked for, but never mind, that's to be expected. The main focus of this episode obviously was on Rumple and the relationship between Rumple and Bae, and Rumple now and Gideon, and that kind of parallel. I mean, the episode title is Ill Boding Patterns, and so you can kind of see where that came from, but I actually thought it was really interesting to see that different moment in the past between Rumple and Bae, seeing that moment of like him being a better father than you thought that he'd ever really been. You kind of felt always like once he got the power and once he became the Dark One, he was kind of just lost to Balefire instantly. But actually, when you saw those moments where Beowulf was testing them, that he would have held off, he would have not done it had Bae not had the dagger and commanded him to kill him. And then seeing what the darkness could already have done to Balefire and wiping his memory and wanting him to have a chance to just go on without the darkness as a part of his life, I thought was really, really touching and really lovely, and did make you feel slightly warmer towards Rumple than you have done for a while. Or, well, certainly since I've felt for a while. Just that moment where Bae sort of said, do it, like, kill him, he's the monster and we're not going to let him do this to us, sort of thing. And you saw how much pain it caused him to do that, and to allow his son really to be responsible for the death of this person. Yeah, okay, so he's used his dad's dark magic to do it, but he's the one who's kind of ordered the kill. And to see how much that hurt Rumple, and then see that reflected now where Gideon's so desperate to kill Emma and he's just so focused on it, and he thinks, again, much like what happened with Bae in the past and what happened with Beowulf. Beowulf had that sword and thought he'd be kind of the all-powerful one, and then obviously Rumple got in the way of that, and that caused problems in the past. And seeing that Balefire asked him to kill Beowulf because he thought he was doing the right thing. He thought that Beowulf was, you know, the sort of evil in the town and he was the monster, and so for him he was seeing it as doing an act of good, but really it was, you know, doing something evil. And then seeing this kind of paralleled in Gideon and this desperation. I mean, he's been clearly through a lot with the Black Fairy and the way that she's tormented him throughout his life, and that the story that he told, that story I thought was really heartbreaking actually, and very well acted by Giles and by Robert, when he was telling his dad about the time when he was a kid and he'd said he'd wanted to be a hero, and the Black Fairy kind of laughed in his face at it and said, oh, you know, well, we'll see about that. And then had gone off and left the door to his cell, like the fact he's in a cell, like, oh. So she'd left the door to his cell unlocked, and he'd then heard her torturing another one of the kids, and he hadn't been brave enough to go and help him. And that guilt that obviously is sort of stuck with him from that, and that disbelief that he could be a good person on his own, that he needs to steal someone else's magic or use someone else to make him a hero rather than just like have the power to do it himself. And I thought that was really heartbreaking and actually very interesting, because I think it's just, it's like Rumple all over again. It's that desperation to hold on to some sort of magic to make you the person you think you want to be, rather than try to be it yourself. So yeah, the scenes where he was then controlling Rumple, I was like, oh no, this is going to go badly. This whole thing is going to go badly. Feel really sorry for the Blue Fairy, like she just is not having any luck these days. But yeah, the whole situation with Gideon's just so sad. The fact that it's bringing Rumple and Belle closer together, I know will be good for a lot of fans. I'm still not sure. Just given the way that things have gone in the past, I just feel like there's a couple of things that he's done recently that I'm still like, I'm sorry, it doesn't really matter what you do at this point. You can't really get past that. But anyway, we'll see how I feel as the series goes on. But yeah, obviously at this point he is trying to do, like, again, ironically, he's kind of doing what Bae did and what he doesn't want Gideon to do, which is using the darkness to do something good, which a lot of them have done before. We've seen instances of this where it's like do the wrong thing for the right reasons kind of thing. So in this instance it's that he doesn't want to see another one of his sons like touch the darkness, which Bae did but managed to, obviously he wiped his memory and he got away and lived a life without it, but he doesn't want Gideon to give into it. So you can see why he's doing what he's doing, and I really hope that he keeps this up. And yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. The fact that the sword is apparently now more powerful than it was before, and that it's, you know, got even more magic and ability to destroy Emma, stresses me out, but I have faith. I have faith that it's all going to work itself out. I'm struggling at the moment to kind of figure out what's happening next. I watched a couple of sort of prediction videos the other day which were quite interesting, which I'm looking forward to seeing if any of the predictions in them came true. If you'd be interested in seeing that, I'll link them in the description box down below if you want to go and have a look. It might not be your cup of tea because spoilers might not be your thing, but if you want to have a look then I'll link them anyway. And really the last part of this episode to really focus on is the Robin and Regina and Zelena scenario. I was really glad that Zelena got a couple more scenes because Rebecca Mader's just so good. And I found the kind of the pairing of alternate universe Robin and Zelena quite an interesting one. I really feel for Regina because it feels like it's finally dawned on her that separating herself from the evil half of herself was never really going to work, because yeah, okay, she is the kind of manifestation of that time in her life, but the things that she did and the things that happened while she was the evil queen are a part of, they will always be a part of Regina as much as they are a part of the evil queen. And so I think that realisation that things aren't really any better, having got rid of that other half of her, is finally starting to kind of settle in, which the rest of us all knew to begin with, but it's sad to see it kind of dawning on her. And the realisation that this Robin, she's been kind of putting pressure on to be someone who he isn't, and then there's a certain amount of guilt there that she's now saying that she'll do whatever she can to help him leave Storybrooke, which will be really hard for her. So that last scene was interesting. I think alternate universe Robin and evil queen is going to be an interesting pairing. It's another great opportunity for Lana and Sean to do more scenes together, which I think will be a lot of fun. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with that, although I am concerned about what it's going to mean for Regina. Okay, I think I'm done. I'm going to stop now because I've probably talked for like 20 minutes, so this is going to need to be cut down, and like 90% of it's probably going to be Captain Swan related, so I do apologise if that's not what you were here for. But as I say, you know, your OTP only does get engaged once, hopefully. And so we got to talk about it. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you could let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this episode, I would really appreciate it. How do you feel about the proposal? Are you slightly gutted like I am, but simultaneously really excited like I am? How did you feel about the backstory with Beowulf and Rumple and Balefire? I thought that was a really interesting way to kind of parallel what's happening with Gideon at the moment, so I enjoyed it, but let me know what you thought. And if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up to let me know, and you can hit the subscribe button if you want to keep up to date with all of my videos. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye!